Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Belgrade Beat, and I'm at Share Square in Savamala, which is a new co-working space slash cafe slash event space that has opened up in the Savamala Belgrade area. And I've come here today, and I'm talking with Rio, the guy who started this space, and I just wanted to see what the story is, how this could help people who watch this channel, and if they want to visit here, what it's all about. So I'm going to pass the mic to him, and you can sort of explain what the idea was in starting this and what you offer.
Alright, I'm just gonna look at you. So, the idea in starting this. I've worked previously in development work. I still actually do some consulting for the UN. My profession is actually development, and I've always wanted to find a way to make development actually more modern and more in touch with let's say modern society than it is currently. So that's actually the impetus behind why I started this. I'll explain what I mean by that.
But it's open for everybody.
It is open for everybody, and that's one of the points. So I've seen that online platforms, let's say, use social networks to they build social networks that actually companies make value from by collecting this kind of community of people and then using them for actually marketing. And my kind of feeling has always been that in cities like Belgrade, where you already have many businesses, you have many skilled people, you have many people who have a lot of goodwill to actually use those skills to improve their community. If we build a network around those people, then we can actually leverage that network to improve the community here. So ShareScore is actually conceived to be a kind of physical social network that people can kind of come through here. I mean, the co-working space, the open class concept, and events and so on are meant to be a way to actually bring people and together and give them a reason to come through here. It allows us to have various events. It allows us to actually, for skilled people, or even people who don't necessarily work in that field, that they're teaching a class in, it allows them a chance to show other people what they're capable of. It allows them to meet other people, maybe people who they wouldn't otherwise meet, and that way to kind of expand that network of people. And then through our organization, our NGO actually, which runs Share Square, we can kind of assess the various human and resources that come through here, as well as partner companies, and then see how we can combine and network and cross-incentivize those various parts of the network to actually improve community.
Okay, so if there's one person who's watching right now, who's the person in your head who's watching this right now who you really want to drop by the place? What's an example? Is it like a graphic designer? Is it internet marketing guru? Is it who do you have in mind when who would you like to see come in right now and say, hi, my name is...
Well, that's interesting. I think a lot of co-working spaces are trying to appeal to specialized communities. Actually, the reason we conceived of this ideas in particular, and you'll notice that from our online media and social media, that we focus a lot on the classes that we have here. So we have basically classes on topics that you would find on YouTube, right? So cooking, makeup, various job skills, arts and crafts, like how to draw something, how to do this and that. And so actually that was chosen to really appeal to a much broader audience than those specialized communities. I mean, there are other co-working spaces or hubs that really focus on design community, on the tech community, and so on. So actually, the person I would like to see is the average person who really wouldn't otherwise engage um, in something that in let's say more constructively in society. So let's say your average person who is used to the fact that the only thing to do is to either go out for drinks or go out for coffee, go to the kafana, but actually I would like them to know that there's another option, that I can go out for coffee and I can learn something at the same time about how to improve myself, how to expand my own viewpoints, my horizon, to meet people that I wouldn't otherwise meet, and to be able to do that for 5 to 10 euros here while also drinking coffee, which is something that Serbians really are familiar and comfortable with, obviously.
Okay, so, and what do you offer sort of like the digital nomad community? If somebody's like traveling to Belgrade, like a lot of people watch my channel and they want to know how it is in Belgrade, where they can go and work, what the community's like. So say you have somebody who's traveling around the world while working on their laptop. What does this place offer them?
Well, apart from what I would consider a nice, interior and a comfortable place, where all the staff speak English, and we have fiber optic internet, we have unlimited coffee, and we actually have the cheapest rates for co-working in Belgrade.
How much is it?
It's 300 dinars, so about just a bit more than €2 per hour. For the first hour, and then 100 dinars every hour after that, so less than €1 after your first hour. And then if you're here for
And that
longer,
includes coffee?
that includes everything. We have coffee muffins. You can make your own waffles. We have chai tea latte, filter coffee, and so on, and fiber optic internet. There's various rooms, meeting rooms. We have a room which is has sound absorption panels where you can basically which is really good for recording. We had Vice record a series of interviews with all the candidates for mayor for the upcoming election. It's a very dynamic space, but I think most importantly that if you're a visiting digital nomad and you want to engage with the local community here, you can sign up for free as to become a member on ShareSquare website, and then click the Become an Instructor button, and you can actually submit a class plan that we will get immediately, and you can actually teach a class within a matter of days here. And we will subsequently advertise that amongst our network of people, our follower base. And actually, a lot of people really, I think, appreciate getting a perspective from elsewhere. It'll be great to have the perspectives and the skills of people who pass through here, to actually share what they know, and maybe they have a specific experience or unique experience that they can share from where they're coming from. And I mean that's one of the reasons it's called ShareSquare. So that we can share, but in a much more meaningful and constructive way than through a YouTube comment, where you just basically kind of swear at each other, and we and that's really the end of the story. And putting people kind of face to face it has been the key, I think, the key aspect of that for me and for our team.
Great. And so how did you end up living in Belgrade?
Oh, it wasn't. It's not a simple thing, but the short story is that I came here in 2006. I was studying in Zagreb, and it was a program about the Balkans, and then we came here for 5 days to meet with some journalists and some NGO people. Those 5 days, I just kind of loved it. I mean, I just loved the vibe. I loved the energy here. People are super friendly. So that same summer I came back, and I had 200 euros left, and I was like, okay, I want to just do an internship here. So I smoked cigarettes. I ate pljeskavica, which is Serbian burgers, basically, and stayed a summer and interned at a local human rights organization, and had really the best summer, and met a lot of people, and really started to have a base of friends, let's say, here, and and really realized that I feel very much at home here, and that's much more of a that says much more about them than about me. I think it's a very just very open place. People are curious, not just about foreigners, but about other people. It's really it's every weekend you'll make a new friend, or and so on. So anyway, some places you just kind of I think it matches your frequency, let's say, and so that's been the case for me. I came back a few times. I did a fellowship one time at a think tank here during my master's. I came back. I helped a friend with opening his NGO, and then ultimately I came back here in 2015, and I opened a restaurant called Marukoshi. I don't know if you've been to it or not, but it's a traditional Japanese kind of home cooking restaurant. It was a way for me to I wanted to start a business and then be able to do other things like this.
How was that, starting a restaurant in Belgrade? How was the process of starting a restaurant?
Tough in many ways that you wouldn't think. I think the one of the ways in which it's tough is finding the right team, finding good people. I think this sector is also in every country. People who work in restaurants, a lot of them work there because they don't want to or don't have the skills to work elsewhere. So it's a bit more difficult, I think, to find kind of motivated people who work, as waiters, as maybe assistant cooks and so on. And when you run a business which has so many moving parts and that really depend on every moving part, it can be tough when you don't have the right team. And I think eventually, obviously, over time, you start to find that, and it starts to become better.
Did you get it all together so it's running itself now?
Somewhat. I sold it actually because I wanted to be able to concentrate on something else. As you might imagine, running a restaurant is really it's a full-time job. It really requires all of your energy. Also, I think if you're the type of person who worries about details, whether or not, I'm sure there are other restaurant owners who don't really pay that much attention, and they kind of just come and bring their friends and just drink and so on. But it's always, I'm always the kind of person who feels that there's something that I can improve, and I really kind of worry about the people's experience there. So I think it was almost there. I mostly sold it because I wanted to just do something else. I think what I realized is that as long as I have it, I'll be paying a lot of attention to it, and my obviously background is in something else, and my goals are, let's say, elsewhere. It was a very fun experience to bring a different kind of food to Belgrade, especially for those people the majority of people who think that Japanese only eat raw fish for every meal. So, a lot of people would come in there and be like, okay, where's the sushi? Because we didn't serve sushi, we just served, ramen, gyoza, all the different rice bowl dishes and so on. And, some people would come in and where's the sushi, and actually get a bit angry, like that there wasn't, or even that there wasn't fish. We didn't have any fish dishes there in the beginning. And you'd have some people like walk in and then and sit down and then not see any fish and kind of walk out and like storm off angrily. So it is interesting to kind of like challenge people's perceptions. We also have the Japanese chef is still there, who I had brought for that, and you have a lot of Serbs who are also kind of saying, oh yeah, it's some Serbian version of Japanese food, which is interesting because I think um, obviously we made those dishes. My mother is Japanese. Obviously Nahoko, the chef, is full Japanese, and we really tried to choose very Japanese dishes that we felt Serbians would like, rather than adapting those dishes to kind of Serbian taste, let's say. So we had a really big diversity of kind of responses to that, and from various people.
Well, that sounds like a very interesting sort of journey to go on in Belgrade, to go from that to this. And what direction do you want to see Belgrade go in as a city? What do you want to see? I want to see it become more international. How do you see it progressing over the next 5 years, let's say?
Over the next 5 years, I would say, I think we're going to see a whole lot more construction on the riverfront nearby here, and the Belgrade waterfront. I think no matter what we want, it is getting more international. I think the statistic that I've heard is that I think there's something like 12 or 13% year-on-year growth of tourism or tourists coming here. I've seen that myself. I remember when I came in 2006, I could count on my hand the number of foreigners I would see or hear on the main walking street, and now they're everywhere. And now in some senses, when you walk on that pedestrian street, you can you hear maybe English or some other language more often than not. So it's definitely getting there. I'm happy about that. I'm happy that more people are discovering Belgrade and how welcoming it is, and obviously changing their perceptions of it. So I do think it's going to get there. There are some things where I think parts of the mentality, just like in every country, can be better, or let's say more open to others, or let's say some more progressive on some more progressive issues. But I think it is headed in that direction, despite what you'll hear from a lot of Serbians who can often be a bit cynical about the country, which is understandable. But also, I know that they are either secretly or not secretly proud of it. I think Serbians are very kind of patriotic, and that's a great thing. It's one of the things that draws me here, is that they're very proud to be who they are, whatever that is. It can be frustrating sometimes when in various situations, but that kind of comes with it comes with the experience. There's good things and bad things in every country. For me, the good things far outweigh the bad ones here, and maybe the good things are the more important things for me. So I'm not sure exactly where it will go. I think definitely it's going to become more of an economic power, I guess, in the region. I think it already is. And I think it's already a transport hub for the region, and between Europe and the Middle East and so on. So I think it's definitely going in the right direction, despite what you may hear from some Serbians, or even some foreigners. So I definitely hope to be a part of that. I hope that Share Square can contribute to that development, and yeah, in whatever way it's possible. And I think the mission that we have, which is to allow people to really show their skills, is one that ultimately will contribute to that.
Yeah. And so, are all the events here sort of held in English, or are they also held in Serbian, or?
Most of them are held in Serbian. That's really the biggest market, let's say. We don't think of it in terms of market, but we really want to make learning a kind of mainstream activity, right? So we figured that if we can make taking a class, drinking coffee and taking a class with somebody in your city, cheap enough or comparable to the price of going out for drinks or even going out for coffee, then somebody can make that decision. Okay, do I want to just do the usual thing of going out for beers, or will I go drink coffee, learn something, and actually improve myself, and meet 10 new people that I wouldn't otherwise have met? And I think that's definitely an option that we're now bringing to people. I think that's going to take some getting used to. Some people are not usually used to doing that, let's say, as a social activity. But I also don't think that this kind of option has been available. So we do spend a lot of time kind of marketing that idea and really marketing the classes and trying to show that person that you walk by in the street who you don't know about or otherwise wouldn't think twice about actually has some really cool experience, some really cool skill that they can teach you or that you can teach them. So yeah, I do hope that it kind of becomes a social option. We're kind of piloting that idea through this. Obviously, there are also some English classes. We have, luckily, quite a nice expat community here. We're having one class on screenwriting by one of the members of the expat community, which will be done in English. We had last week a Filipino lady taught a class on how to make adobo, and we quite often have English classes. I mean, obviously, even Serbian, the classes which are promoted in Serbian, a lot of times the instructor teaches in English if somebody is there who's a foreigner and doesn't understand Serbian, because most people do speak English here. So, no.
Okay, and so what's the most magical moment that you've had here in this space so far?
Most magical? Well, I spent a lot of time on this roof, putting up these panels.
How long
and
have you been open so
far? About a month and a half or so. We opened, I think, on December 22nd. So we're it's a central space and it's a big space, so that means it's a very expensive space. So we know that we need to try and fill this place up as soon as possible, as much as possible. So we do. I mean, we try to also keep the prices low so that people can take a class for €5 or €10. I mean, you don't really find that here in this area. This area is kind of known for being kind of clubbing bar district, and I think it's important that there's let's say another kind of option here. There's a lot of hostels here in this neighborhood, so this is a place where a lot of foreigners, backpackers, digital nomads, and so on stay. And so we do hope to kind of also appeal to that community, because when you come to Belgrade, it might be, if you're not the kind of person who's clubbing or going to the bars, it might be a bit difficult to really settle in or meet people who are from this community. So we also, and especially more towards summer as the tourist season kind of kicks in, we're going to have more content like how to cook Serbian dishes, and kind of have a series of classes which people who are visiting can really come and engage and also learn about Serbia at the same time.
Okay, well, I think it's pretty obvious that this is a place on the up. It's a new, fresh idea in an international way, like we love to see on Belgrade Beat, people doing new stuff, trying to break down the sort of traditional stuff here and bring in new ideas from around the world. So thanks a lot for the interview, and I hope that the people who are watching this will come and check out how it is, have a coffee, sit and do some work, meet some friends, meet some interesting people, have some interesting discussions. So thanks a lot. I wish you best of luck with this, and
thank you. If you have any great class ideas, you're welcome to go to our website and come and offer a class to people in Belgrade. Come and take a class and learn about what people here do. Thank you.
Great. Well, we look forward to seeing how that develops, and I'll check out the links in the description to the website of this place. So thanks a lot for the interview.
Thank you, Eric.